Hey there, everybody. Thanks for coming back to Crash Command Games to check out some more Flesh and Blood content. I don't get this stuff in advance like everyone else does. I just got to pick it up on release date when available at my current and local stores. And that is why today I'm going to be going over Dash. Armory Deck Dash, right? Dash.io. Why they didn't call it that, we'll never know. But let's go ahead and take a look at this together. Just like all the other Enter the Armory formats, we're just going to do a full breakdown. I'm going to go over the cards, unpack this in front of you, see what your expectations are going to be right here, and then we'll go over an upgrade path.
Enter the Armory.
So this is the box straight up, right? This is sorry, I've got a new positioning, and I'm not entirely used to it yet. I have a new setup that's supposed to cast a little bit more light into this area. And not so much onto me and in my glasses. Stuff you don't care about. The point is we're talking about Armory Deck Dash. Now, this product remains pretty premium looking. I like the foiling on the box. It looks very attractive. The font is very good. Armory Deck tells you exactly what it's for. And as I've said before in my videos, you can pick this up. You can play in an Armory. You will have fun. Without lots and lots of practice, you will not win. Okay? You may win a game or two, right? You may start getting good enough to where you start winning a few games, but you probably will not take the Armory without upgrades. Possible, like I said, the Azalea deck was very, very strong. KO deck was very, very strong as well. I don't quite think that they're win an Armory strong. Sorry if I'm a bit frazzled. This is after the Pro Quest. My draft Pro Quest didn't do so hot. I was very confident in my draft and my deck. I'm getting off topic. So let's go ahead and open this up. First off, this is around the price you should be looking to pay for your deck. Okay, $39.90 is an amazing price for this product. If you see it for, like I said, 10 to 15% more than this, that's probably what shipping is going to be anyway. If shipping isn't just included with the product, support your local game store. Just buy it from them. 50's kind of pushing it, but still totally acceptable, right? It's just a decent product. Considering that the new Jarl Vitreity product is coming out, and that's slated for $60, and that's supposed to be like a premium deck, like a premium deck. Lots of Majestics and stuff. I don't know about $50 for the Armory decks, but 40 is a very good price point for this. As you can see, this is what my local store charges for it. So let's see if anything about this packaging has changed. Probably not. Spoiler alert. Not that one. That one. There we go. Let's get me in here a little bit, huh? Okay, so again, minimal packaging. I like that. It's so Joker. That's so Joker. I gotta start using that phrase. It's so shitty. It is one of the worst phrases I've ever heard in my life. Bro, that's so Joker. Okay, again, like I said, minimal packaging. I like this. Recyclable, easy to dispose of, not super wasteful, holds the product still, does exactly what it's intended to do. Like all the others, right? It's wrapped in this light film, okay? Comes with a hero first and then a foil in the back right there. I'm not sure if they're all the same. So let's go ahead and crack this open. Okay, so there's an easy way to open this. There's going to be a little envelope right here. That's just going to crack this right off, so you're not going to be like scratching with your nails trying to get in here. Ooh, those cards are, those are crisp. It doesn't really, I mean, it might come across on camera, but those are crisp cards. You can see that sheen on the sides of them. So let's sorry, like I went up for the old position, but I moved it a little closer here, so it's a little easier on my arms. So let's go ahead and read this together. I'm going to freeze frame right here while I read this. You may look at the top card of your deck at any time. Once per turn, you may play a Mechanologist item with a 0 or 1 cost from the top of your deck as though it were an instant. It costs an additional resource to play. And then, of course, the first line is you may look at the top card of your deck at any time. So that's who we're dealing with, Dash.io. That's what she does. What differentiates her between Inventor Extraordinaire, the old Dash, OG Dash, obviously, is that OG Dash just starts with an item in play, and she kind of lets you dig through the top of your deck trying to get them into play as instants. Very powerful, very aggro, all kinds of stuff. Just like every other series, I'm gonna see what this does for you right off the bat. We'll just go here. All right, we're gonna go check this out together real quick. All right, so we got Armory Deck Dash, ready to play classic constructed decks fully equipped for the battle at the Armory event. It shows you the hero, a bright spark from the bustling city of Metrix. Dash and her digital friend Datadol love nothing more than putting pedal to the metal. Sure, right? It's going to go over a few of these, going to show you some of the key pieces, and then it's going to link to a how to play video provided by Legend Story Studios right there. Gotta go fast. Very useful if you have a phone and you have access to that. Fantastic. I still wish they would just include some kind of literature. Yes, it can get outdated. Yes, that's easy to update. Yes, that doesn't cost as much, obviously, because it's one resource, but it's just, it would be more friendly across the board to have literature. What is this? This is a delight. So I had to previously purchase Steam counters from like Metal Fab tokens. They get a pimp, right? They've been great. They've been at every event, supporting every event that I go to. They have fantastic merch. I'm not sponsored by Metal Fab tokens, but that's what I was using previously. But now you just get these little. Oh, that's a nice include. That is a nice include. I did not know that. I love these. Okay, you have good Steam counters to keep track of your stuff, and now you have things to keep track of your battle-worn equipment. That is thoughtful and useful. Love it. Love that inclusion to death. Next up, we have Symbiosis Shot. This is a dash specialization. This is going to probably replace her pistol, and it does so with great effect, as I just got my ass whooped by it on the last Armory I played. It's a dash specialization with 2 power, mechanologist weapon, gun, 2-handed. Action, remove a Steam counter from this. Attack. Whenever a mechanologist item enters the area under your control, if this has fewer than 6 Steam counters, you can put a Steam counter on it. What can we glean from this item? So now we say we care about items coming into play, and it can store Steam counters, up to 6 of them, to attack. And you attack by removing a Steam counter, but it doesn't have go again. We're probably looking for action points. The more action points we can get, the more we can pop this off, and that's exactly how you win that card. We're going to look at these cards now. Backup Protocol Red. Crank. It's a mechanic from Bright Lights. As this enters the arena, you may remove a Steam counter from it. If you do, you gain an action point. Can play as an instant. Get your action point. This, I can already tell, is going to be one of the more complicated Armory decks, right? I thought Bolton was going to be complicated. Dash.io has a lot going on here. We can play things as instant, can look at the top of your deck, cares about items coming into play. You need action points to use this. Cranking provides you action points. Is a lot going on. This deck has a high skill ceiling already based on just the few mechanics we've seen here, and that's okay. You might not be very happy with your results the first few times, but as things start to literally click, mechanically and otherwise, you will start to see the power of this deck. Backup Protocol Red itself is pretty incredible to rip off the top. You pay 1 resource with a blue, you have 2 floating, you get something back, you have a floating action point, you get go again, etc. This is a good synergy piece throughout the whole deck. Break Protocol whenever you can. Okay. Next up, did I put that upside down? We have the Boom Grenade. Okay, we're going to put these upside down so the deck is still in order. Boom Grenades are the quintessential damage dealer of this deck. It also has Crank, so it comes into play with Steam counters. You may remove that to gain an action point back. It's an item, so it can be played off the top with Dash to give you action points. And also it says, this enters the arena with a Steam counter at the start of your turn. Destroy this unless you remove one. When a mechanologist attack action card you control hits a hero, destroy this and deal 4 damage to that hero, to them, right? So this is like I'm swinging with any of my generic attack action cards, and I peek at the top with Dash's ability and go, Boom Grenade. If they don't block, you instant speed in a Boom Grenade, Crank, get an action point back on top of the go again, and then you fire twice with a pistol. You're starting to see, this is just synergy.deck. It starts to become quite crazy. We'll talk about the word crazy later. But that's Boom Grenades. You get 3 of these guys. Very functional card. A single convection amplifier, which I think is super appropriate because this is kind of a utility card, but you don't want to see it all the time. It enters the battlefield with 2 steam counters. When it has no steam counters, destroy it. Action, remove a steam counter. The next attack action card you play this turn gets dominate. You can ensure some really sick on hits. You can ensure the boom grenade pop. It's an item you can play off the top. Very useful card. Dissolving Shield, Crank. We've already been over what Crank does. You should just know at this point, but I will say it one last time. As this enters the arena, you may remove a steam counter from it if you do gain an action point. This enters the arena with 3 steam counters, and at the start of your turn, you remove one or destroy it. But as an instant, you can remove steam counters from this to prevent the next 1 damage that would be dealt to you. So, on your opponent's turn, if you have an item in your hand and you can't block with it, and you see this on top, bam, you have yourself a weird little defense reaction. Or on your turn, you set this up, crank it for the action point, and then you have a 2 damage shield on your opponent's turn. Versatile piece. Yellow boom grenades. They just deal 3 damage instead of 4. Nothing too crazy. Backup protocol blue. Just gets blue cards out of your graveyard as opposed to red. Now this is the talk of the town. There's only 2 of these? Okay. This is the talk of the town. This is the cerebellum processor, okay? This enters the arena with 2 steam counters, and at the start of your turn, destroy this unless you remove a steam counter from it. Okay? So it enters with 2. You can crank, and if you don't remove one, it destroys it. Once per turn action, draw a card. That's it. You need go again, or you need action points, but if you do have that, this is just draw a card. Very good, very powerful. With Dash IO's ability, you can look at the top if you really want to draw it, or if you can play it, that's fine. But then you get the option to either draw it or play it, and then draw again with Cerebellum Processor. It's just craziness. It's options for days. Steam counter. Put this on the bottom of your owner's deck. Put a steam counter on item you control. I don't know if steam canister is super important to this deck, but it's a very, very fun item to put into the deck from the Armory perspective. This card is stupid. Fast and Furious. Cost 0, 3 attack, 3 block. Already just a rock solid card. Boost. Boost is a keyword. It is explained in my Arcane Rising episode, maybe a few times in the Max Nitro episode. Maybe. But if you have not seen all those and you're new to the game, this just says boost. What that means is, as an additional cost, you may banish the top card of your deck. If it is a Mechanologist card, this gains go again. So you play this card, and you pay the 0 cost. At the same time, you have to decide if you're going to pay the boost cost, which is banish the top card of your deck, and if it's a Mechanologist card, you get go again. Okay? And this says, if you've cranked this turn, this gets +1. Well, you just saw we have a lot of crank items in the deck, so that's pretty easy to do. And then when this is banished from boosting, so when this is the card that you in fact banish from the top, you may put a steam counter on an item you control with crank. It's the perfect card. It can be 0 for 4 with go again, or if you banish it, it pumps up one of your crank items. It's just too goddamn good. Okay. Here we have Data Link. 0 for 3 boost. Boost, we just went over. And then when this hits, opt 1. Not too bad. 0 for 3. Lets you opt. Just a little boost card. Dive Through Data. Boost. When this hits, opt 1. But it costs 1 and attacks for 4. Some breakpoint action there. Just some standard boost. Throttle. Staple. You need this card. It just does a lot of damage. 6 attack. Boost. 2 cost. A lot of the Mechanologist cards are going to be what you call by the numbers, okay? Just very efficient. 0 for 4 that you can give go again by banishing a card from the top. 3 block. 0 to 60. You can get a ticket like that. Zipper Hit, okay? 1 for 5. Boost. 3 block. No, they don't need explanations. They're just very solid cards. Maximum Velocity. Pretty solid card. Pretty hard to pull off sometimes. You might pull this out against other decks. You'll learn when it comes in and when it doesn't, but it is a 2 resource for 10 that blocks for 3, but you can only play this if you've boosted 3 or more times, so you do have to set that card up, but if you do, it's just icing. Yellow 0 for 60 is very important. 0 for 3 with go again. Yellow Zipper Hits, 1 for 4, go again if you boost. And then, of course, you have your blue little guys that are just here for support. Blue 3 block, they technically have boost, they're useful. Data Link is the one that opts. Expedite. is when this hits, you may put an item with cost 0 or 1 from your hand into the arena. Pretty annoying to have this placed against you, because with Dash.io, you know that I'm packing a lot of items, and if it hits, I just get a free item into play, and that's never fun. 0 to 60 blues, zipper hit blues, and that's largely the meat of the deck, right? That is Dash.io. As you can see, a lot of those cards were pretty much very basic: attack for a breakpoint, attack for value, boost, get go again, do it again. Dig through your deck with Dash.io. If they choose not to block or think that you don't have it, look at the top for boom grenades or boom grenades from hands. You're just straight numbers value. This is aggro in a nutshell. Let's take a look at this equipment. So we start with the Heavy Industry Surveillance. Mechanologist equipment head, temper 1. Pretty lame to be temper 1, but it says, when this defends, you may banish the top card of your deck. If it's a mech card, it gets +1. So very likely you'll have this for 2 block. That's okay. It's not the best. You have a foil. Okay, so you have a playset of Fast and Furious, but one of them is foil. Okay. Oh, same with Cerebellum Processor. And then we move right back into the equipment. Okay. We have Heavy Industry Gear Shift. Now, this thing is what people have their eyes on, I think, the most of the time. It's action, destroy this, banish the top 2 cards of your deck, gain an action point for each Mechanologist card banished this way. That starts to feed the Symbiosis Shot or some of your bigger attacks. So very good, and it's Battle Worn 1, so you can block with it, get the value out of it, and still do that later. Is that the legs? Sorry, that's the legs. That's not the gloves. I may have said it was gloves, but it's legs. You have Heavy Industry Ram Stop. I don't know if this one matters that much. When this defends, you may pay a resource. If you do, it gets +1, temper 1. I don't think these are that exciting. I think you'd go with a couple other options for gloves, if possible. And then Heavy Industry Power Plant. Action, resource, destroy this. Whenever you boost, get a resource. Temper 2. It's very good, but at the same time, the Teklo Foundry Heart is probably just better. Has Battle Worn, you get resources off it as well without having to break it. I would say it's just better. Okay, so that is this deck. Now, I'm going to go over a few play lines, but not a lot. I'm not going to go over some crazy shit. I just kind of want you to see how this deck works, right? So what you're kind of looking to do is you'll just say on one of your turns, you'll have... Let me dig through this for a second. Okay. So we'll say we just like pitch a blue zipper hit for just a 6 throttle, right? And we boosted. Okay. And you go, oh, what am I going to do with that boost? Well, it doesn't really matter because they have to make their decision first. And if they go, oh, I'm going to block 6. You look at the top of your deck, you say you see the boom grenade. Well, you have 1 resource floating over from throttle. So off the top, using Dash.io's ability, you would play Boom Grenade. And they've already dedicated 2 cards to block. So at this point, what you could probably do is sneak in something like, you crank this, and then we'll say you Fast and Furious boost it again. If you get lucky, you banish a Fast and Furious and put a counter on Boom Grenade. Now it's a 4. It's a break point that's coming in with a Boom Grenade. And very likely you could probably just finish up with something small that's really irritating because they've already dedicated a lot of block here. And then you boost again with the data link. Okay. So at this point in time, with a very small hand, with just a 3 or 4 card hand, depending if you had an arsenal or not, you've threatened 6, 10, 13 damage. And if one of those gets through, another 4 damage right there. I'm sorry that was off screen. I'm just going to move this part up forward and just highlight the card as we go. And then Boom Grenade pops if any one of these hits for another 4 damage. So technically on this turn it was 6, 10, 14, 17 damage. You'll still have 2 action points left over because you've cranked. So that's 6, 10, 14, 17, 19, 21 damage off of a very simple looking turn. That is why Dash.io is just crazy. Is that Boom Grenade trick is just devastating most of the time. It's no fun to have happen to you, but it's a blast to have done by you. So let's go ahead and put these away again real quick. This deck is probably totally viable out of the box. Like I said in the beginning, I don't think you're going to be winning an Armory if you take it, but if you get a lot of reps on this and you start to get good with the hero and you start to understand the concepts, well, then it's time to look at that upgrade path. And we will do that in just a second. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at this real quick. So, as in previous versions, I'm going to try to keep a running count. It's kind of hard for me to edit that and make it look really good, but I'm going to do my best for you here, and we're just going to try to do it. So I'm going to put up the value of the cards that come in the Dash.io deck right next to the Dash.io deck. I have another one right here for my collection. Weirdly enough, this one wasn't saran wrapped like the previous ones were, or some of the previous ones were. But you know, it's not a big deal. So we're gonna show the value that goes in with this right here somewhere on the screen, and we're gonna keep a running tally as we do our upgrades. Now, as with the previous Enter the Armories, I kind of want to just show you. Basically, the way that this format works is I show you incremental steps to the Armory deck and their paths that are broken down in 3 months, 6 months, 1 year. Okay. The first assumption is you're just trying the game, you're just playing the game, you picked up an Armory deck, and you're like, I wonder what this is going to be like. Well, your first investment is that $40, the $39.90 or whatever it is you buy it for. So we're just going to quickly take a peek. Okay, so $44.95. Like I said, this isn't a bad price. Try not to buy off a TCG player. I'm not like trying to, like, I'm a TCG player seller. I would like you to buy off of that for me and all that kind of stuff. But if your local store has this in stock, I do not provide you tables. They do. Buy from them if possible. If not, sure, do whatever, but get it from your local gaming store if you can first. They have the tables, they have the staff, they have the tournaments, they have the judges. Just do it. Okay, so I'm gonna keep like a running tally, kind of. I always look like at an amalgamation of the page, right? I don't quite take market, but 45 looks a little low here for market value. Obviously, we saw a huge spike coming up, a huge dip, and then a huge spike again right when they announced a few things. But we're just gonna look at this real quick. Try to find a store that does $40 because, like I said, these are okay decks. They're fine enough to show up to an Armory with. Once you get a lot of games under your belt, 10, 20 games under your belt, you'll have enough experience to win a few games and you'll start to understand the game a lot more. You start this upgrade path. 50 starts to push it because as I again iterated earlier was not iterated as I said earlier, Vitradi's coming out and he's a $60 deck, and we don't know how much stronger he's going to be, but he could be heads and shoulders stronger than an Armory deck. So just keep in mind, you know, that there are levels. There are Legos of enlightenment. Okay, so let's take a peek. Again, like the other ones, I'm not even going to look at the best decks. I'm going to use my understanding of the game and what I've seen in metas around me. I'm just going to use my knowledge and my experiences to form this deck. There may be better decks. As always, net decks exist. Fabrary exists. I actually think Fabrec is a thing now. That may have been a thing for a while. I'm not entirely positive. But I swear I thought I saw like an advertisement for it in one of the Fab videos. Come check me out. I need sponsors. But yeah, they're who I used to use when I was playing Magic back in the day. They just amalgamate a lot of information very well. But yeah, there's a lot of good resources, including and videos like these, that will show you how to build a deck, and one that will be pretty good. So my first incremental value is I kind of want to aim for like the $100 range. Cumulatively, okay? 40 here. We're going to use my number of 48 because that's probably more average of what you'll be paying, 48 to 100. And we're going to move that from $48 to $100 total spent, not 40 plus another 100. $100 is the line. First things I'm going to say that you probably want to grab are going to be Techlicores. Okay, these are a little pricey. Not the first edition one. We don't care about that. Let's just go unlimited edition, normal. We just go for the cheapest thing we can get. Okay. These are 16 each. Again, Dash.io just came out, so obviously that will probably be a huge portion of that. I would say just go ahead and pick these up. Okay, that's $45. That's $15 a week if you can afford to pick one up a week to add to your deck. As I said, my plans are laid out for you to buy this, play it for a few weeks to see if you like it, and if you do, start this upgrade path. That means every week buy some of the cards from the 1 to 3 month range. At the end of 3 months, you could have spent $50 to $60 to get to where you're going. This is $45 right off the bat, right off rip. That brings us up to like $95. Not much else we can really do except get these Tekla cores and maybe perfect. You can get your please tell me they're cheap and unlimited edition normal. Yeah, you can get a play set of these for like $6, $7. F this guy. I don't know what's going on here. $4.11 per. That's craziness. I mean, it's not too far off with the shipping that you see over here. So yeah, $6, $8. You probably get the Spark of Geniuses. That alone is a massive upgrade because now you're boosting. This is another dash specialization that says search your deck for a mech item card with cost X. Put it in the arena. Shuffle your deck. If you've boosted, draw a card. Okay, if you have an extra action point from cranking, Spark of Genius is basically like, oh, I'm gonna do some crazy stuff now. Dig through my deck, maybe put a boom grenade into play, maybe put a protocol into play, maybe put a cerebellum processor into play, whatever it's called. Guess I could just look at the card that I have right here now. Should be like close to the front, I think. Yeah, the cerebellum processor. Okay. And just set up front of the turn or crank it. just crank it right on the table.
Brother,
and start a chain of just wild events. Okay, so Spark of Genius and the Tekla and the Tekla core will enable that. That's roughly a $50 upgrade. It's not a lot, but this deck really doesn't need that much extra to go too crazy. This is going to be a short video because some of the mech cards have shot up in price because, unfortunately, many people didn't like Bright Lights. Many people didn't like a lot of the mechanologist stuff that was coming out. Until recently, somehow we found a whole plethora of Dash players just showing up left and right. This probably sparked some of it because it has some very exciting cards in it. But that would be it. That would probably be my upgrade path right off the bat for $100. I'm just going to skip right on into the 3 to 6 month period upgrade. I don't think if you are playing a deck past 3 months, like I say in every other one of my videos, you're probably a Flesh and Blood player. You probably like that deck. It's time to invest a bit of money. We're going to jump up from 100 total spent to 300 total spent. Okay. I don't even know how to do this. I mean, I'm sure there's ways. Okay, so the Tekla Foundry Heart, Jesus. You can buy one for 16. You can buy a Bright Lights one for 17. You can buy an original Rainbow Foil one for 19. Pick one of those up. They're insane. They go in most mechs. There's not a reason not to have this card. Okay? That replaces that chess piece that I said could be replaced. Totally fine. It's not a big deal. That's $20. Okay, so we're at 120. You could replace those dive through data with these. $17 each. Yeah, that's going to be a little bit pricey. That's okay though, because we're at that $300 threshold. We'll say $17 to $19, $20. So it's an 18. We'll say it's a $19 card total. We'll just round up to 20. So Foundry Heart and 3 Pulse Wave Harpoons. That's $80. We're at 180 right now. This card. That's what I was afraid of. This card is incredible because as you're boosting your items out, this becomes more threatening because it's when it hits, you may put an item with cost 0/1 from any banished zone into the arena. You can reuse some of the cards that you banished. A playset of these is gonna run you, we'll say 35, even 105, another 105. So that's gonna put us at 285. Okay, very close, very close. So we have our Spark of Geniuses, we have our Tekla Foundry Heart. We have our Tekla cores, we have our heists, we have our Pulse Wave Harpoons. That's all of our crazy stuff. If I were to also include, so we're almost at a $300 threshold. There really isn't much more to add. I do know that there is a card everybody's thinking about, all of the more experienced players are thinking about. We can look at it. I'm telling you right now, this card is not going to last very long, and you will not like paying for it if it is expensive. It's high octane. It's a $10 card. You could go ahead and wrap up and bring yourself up to the $300 price mark if you want to with high octane. Anybody who's been watching the channel for any amount of time, you know I fucking hate bans. And I don't want it to be banned. I don't want high octane to be banned. It turns off my boy Max Nitro pretty bad. But I'd be really, really shocked if it were not banned in the next 3 months. So I would say if you want to play high octane, go ahead and pick it up first. If you want to try it out and see what it feels like, don't be surprised if it gets banned. It may not. Don't be surprised if it does. A more wise investment, I feel like, is this card right here. T-Bone. Oh, fuck yeah. You just get a full play set of T-Bones. 3, 6, 9 of those things. You're spending like $1 or $2, right? Maybe less if... No, it's like $2. $2-3. Definitely put those into the deck. That'll bring you pretty close to $300, not including the high octanes. I don't think there's a need for much else. We could take a look at... We could take a look at this card right here, Adaptive Play. Oh, okay, that used to be like $15-16. That will be the next level. This is basically free. You could look at this thing. You could pick up a fancy shiny one. It's basically free, but it's a decent piece that goes into many decks. That's your $300 price point, okay? If you spend like $30-40 every week or 2 weeks on this game as you're going out to play your armories or play with your friends or whatever the hell you're doing on the weekends, right? If you're playing Flesh and Blood, you will hit this $300 threshold pretty easily, and week by week, you'll be getting those cards. That's if you're buying the singles. Now, if you're buying packs and you find cool stuff to trade and you get it for cheaper, fantastic, love that for you. But that's not how I would go about it. Just buy the singles. Okay. It's not strictly a sales pitch either. I don't even think I have most of this stuff left. The Majestic stuff goes pretty quick. I will have Bright Lights up at some point, but right now I'm just drip feeding into eBay. Okay, so that's your $300 price point. I don't know what we could get past that. You could ball out and just completely get the most efficient item, or not items, but attacks like Twin Drive at this point. They're $45, but if you're going for $300 to $600 and you want to play mech, Twin Drives are incredible. And as you see, the more we learn about Dash.io and the more we learn about mechs, the more those go up. $45 to $58, you're looking at a $50 card, $53 card, I would probably say on average. That brings you from your $300 price point to $450. What else do you add to Dash.io? There's not really... She's not the most expensive deck to build, but she's damn near one of the fastest decks to play against. She's very rough. You could get this guy, one or two of these guys in your deck. They're like $3. Tekla Pounders are very fantastic. Enters with 3 steam counters on it. When it has no steam counters on it, destroy it. Whenever you boost an attack action, remove a steam counter from it, that attack gets +2. That starts pushing extra damage. It's just craziness. You could start to look at this one right here. Plasma Mainline can have your boom grenades last a little bit longer, and it's dirt cheap. Those are some side options. You can finish out that max velocity. I think I only saw 2 in the deck. You could put these in against Illusionist or other decks that try to fatigue you a little bit because you just can't survive 10 damage too many times. You could definitely put a few other poppers in there if you'd like to, but I just don't see the need to. I'm going to call this deck a $500 deck. Okay. After those Twin Drives, you bring up to $450, and then those other cards are only like $2 or $3 each. You're not even going to be hitting $500. If you really wanted to prepare yourself, you could get some extra equipment. That's $8. Yeah, we're getting up to like $470 at this point. The Achilles Accelerator, like I said, was like $0.05, and that's another piece of Arcane Barrier that's pretty decent. pick this up for the whole dime that it's probably going to be, right? 20 cents, whatever, 10 cents. It's that deck is really good out of the box. And the other cards that I'm talking about do up its power level significantly. So you do want to check out that list. Those cards that I mentioned in this video will definitely yield results because, as I said, Mechanologist is a by the numbers deck, and those are numbers. Okay. So that's my Enter the Armory for Dash.io. I want to thank anybody for watching this video, for hanging around for long enough to listen to me ramble about what the upgrade path is. And just a quick brief overview and unboxing of Dash.io's Armory deck. I hope to do this for Vitriety as soon as I can. Again, I'm a very small channel, so I don't get the stuff in advance. I don't know how I would reach out to try to get the stuff in advance for you guys. But I'm going to work on that. Check out Crash Command Games on Patreon. Check us out on Twitter, Facebook, wherever I post all this stuff so you get current updates. Please make sure to like and subscribe. Tell me, is this the kind of deck you want to play? Or are one of the other Armory decks just a little bit more up your alley, and why? I really want to know what people are thinking about these Armory decks so far. I, as a player who has that line of decks behind him, and I'm a generalist, and I play every hero right now, I think they're fantastic because I've played enough of the game to just jump into a deck and go, yeah, this is incredible. But is it good for a new player? Let me know. Anyway, and again, thanks for listening to Crash Command Games. Thanks for entering the Armory with me. And this one is 0.